Hello everybody, welcome to this vlog. My name is Satya. Today I will discuss about why OSPF is preferred in enterprise and not preferred in bigger ISP networks or in internet, right? So OSPF is very stable and easy to understand the routing protocol. So then why it is not used in the ISP networks, bigger ISP networks or in the internet? The reason is it has a very elaborate routing entry exchange. These are the routing entries are exchanged in the form of LSPs. It's called as link state paths. So it describes what are the routing entries that will be forwarded by the particular router that will be advertised in LSPs. As I told, it is link state paths. So the convergence, like for example, if two routers establish a OSPF session and they want to exchange the routing entries in the form of LSPs, then it takes a lot of CPU power because the LSPs are very elaborate and it's easy to read and understand what are the preferences of the routing entries that have been distributed by a particular router. So since it is more elaborate, the processing also takes more time. So this is the reason why it cannot be used in bigger ISP networks. Whereas ISIS, which is intermediate system, it is more TLV based, right? So since they are not elaborate routing entries, the processing takes lesser time in ISIS. And historically, most of the vendors, the bigger vendors in the ISP like Cisco, Juniper, Nokia, they all preferred ISIS in the ISP networks, right? ISIS also does not scale better when it comes to internet, so BGP is used, but in a bigger ISP networks, ISIS is usually preferred, right? OSPF is not preferred. So in the scale of preferability in the bigger ISP networks, first preference is BGP, second preference is ISIS, third is OSPF. And now since you might be hearing about IPv6, right? It is a version 6 of internet protocol. So there the adaptability has started in most of the ISP networks. ISIS has native support for both IPv4 and IPv6 addresses. But in OSPF, there is a separate version which supports IPv6. So OSPF version 2 only supports IPv4. OSPF version 3 supports IPv6 plus IPv4, right? Or yeah, so it supports IPv6, OSPF version 3. So as I told, the CPU processing power for processing the OSPF routing entries exchanged between two routers is more. That's why in a bigger ISPs where more routing entries are exchanged between different routers, the processing power or the processing CPU power increases. And as I told, the link state database, the link state and LSPs are the entities through which routing entries are exchanged. These LSP database is huge to maintain because it's more elaborate and it's very easily, the administrator can easily debug what are the routing issues and what are the preferred routes, right? So that's one of the reasons why OSPF is not preferred in bigger ISP networks. Then long-term stability. Long-term stability, OSPF is better. So that's why they use in smaller networks where they want stability, right? And even in bigger ISP networks, stability is required, but there are different methods which I'll discuss in future classes with respect to ISIS and BGP, how they maintain stability. But inbuilt stronger stability is part of OSPF, right? So that's why the enterprise network, they prefer a simpler protocol. Even OSPF can be used in ISP network, but smaller ISP networks like access side, right? Then ease of use. Ease of use is OSPF is better because it is more elaborate for the administrator to debug the routing problems. ISAS is TLV based and it's little difficult to debug. So friends, as part of this video, I discussed why OSPF is preferred in enterprise networks and why not in bigger ISP networks. They can be implemented, but there will be scaling issues when OSPF is used. So that's why they used in the scale of preferences. BGP is the most preferred, then ISIS, then OSPF. Thanks for giving your time. See you in the next video. Bye.